This afternoon, the Senate began a process known as Vote-A-Rama, which allows any member to propose an amendment with a full roll call vote. But that process was stalled for 8 hours as both parties tried to win West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin's support for their competing changes to unemployment benefits. Now, we can report at this hour Manchin has agreed to a Democratic proposal that will decrease the unemployment bonus. That's over the normal amount you get, right? From $400 a week to $300 a week, but it extends it from August to September. It also keeps the first $10,000 of unemployment insurance benefits as non-taxable, which is pretty crucial because there's a lot of folks who are going to get a big surprise tax bill. But that now only applies to households with incomes under $150,000. If none of that math scanned you, that's okay. Democratic Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock pushed for a comprehensive COVID rescue bill during his upset bid for a Georgia Senate seat, and he joins me now. Reverend Senator, I want to ask about the sort of details here, but the first thing I want to ask is, every time I talk to people in the U.S. Senate, I say I feel like I'm talking to a culture from another planet, right? Like it's a very strange institution, all sorts of weird traditions that are hard to explain. You're new there. What is it like to go through this? How strange does the institution seem to you, or does it not?
Well, it's great to be here with you tonight, Chris. We're going, through the sausage making of legislation. But the good news is that after months of waiting, and when you think about the long period where nothing happened under the previous administration, relief is right around the corner. Help is on the way. And we'll be here for a little while, but we are there. And I'm confident that we're going to pass the relief that Americans need and deserve in this moment. We're about to pass, I think, a historic piece of legislation that, for one thing, will cut child poverty in half. Think about that. We will cut child poverty in half, $1,400 relief payments to people that will go directly in their pockets. And we know that when poor people, when working class people receive relief, they buy food, they buy medicine that's needed, they buy baby diapers, a coat for their kid. It helps them and it stimulates the economy. We're going to get this virus under control and get the American economy roaring again. And I'm proud to be a part of that process.
You were just elected in that special election in January, obviously. It's a closely divided swing state, the state of Georgia now. Will be up again in 2 years because it was a special election. So I think you could say that you have the most frontline position of any senator in that caucus. So from the position of your political life, what do you want to tell your fellow Democrats about what you need to deliver back to your constituents in Georgia?
Well, we've been fighting that good fight from day one, not for me, but for the people I was sent here to represent. You know that I come into this job as a pastor, someone who is used to walking with people through their pain. I've seen firsthand the ways in which people are suffering through this pandemic that has literally taken their loved ones, 500,000 Americans. It's devastated our economy. And the good news, again, is relief is right around the corner. Help is on the way. We're about to pass a historic piece of legislation that will cut child poverty in half, will give workers the relief and the support that they need. In this bill, we have $5 billion of debt relief that will go to farmers of color. And we're going to get this virus under control so that we can safely reopen our schools and our economy. That's the good news, and I couldn't think of a better sermon for a preacher to be preaching on this weekend.
Do you think, in terms of the future, do you think about, do you have hope for the second half of this year, even as someone who, there's a lot of clergy around the country who have not been preaching in person and who desperately want to commune with their flocks again? And do you think that kind of thing is a possibility in the second half of this year if things go right?
What I can tell you is that we're making progress. And what I've insisted on from day one is that we have to follow the science. My faith has no quarrel with science. It's been tough on those of us who worship, whether we worship in a synagogue or in a church on a weekend. But we have stayed apart from one another, not out of a sense of fear as much as out of a fear of love, a sense of love. But the vaccine is being distributed. The president has said that we'll have enough vaccines for every adult by May. And in this package is $20 billion of aid so that we can get the vaccine distributed. I know it's been a long, dark night, but I can see the glimmer of light just on the other end of that tunnel. And I just want folks to hold on, hang in there, continue to socially distance. Help is on the way.
One of the votes today in that vote-a-rama was a vote on the $15 minimum wage. It was, of course, removed by the Senate parliamentarian as not being germane to the specific budget process called reconciliation. The Democrats had 8 no votes along with every Republican. You were a yes vote. Why'd you vote for it?
Oh, I think it's a contradiction to say that people ought to work and not make work pay. I have long been an activist in the fight for 15. And I will not shrink back from that, not one moment in any way. Workers deserve to be paid for their work. America deserves a wage. You know, in a state like mine, in a city like Atlanta, there's a real problem around affordable housing, for example. And what happens is that working class people work all day, every day, sometimes 2 or 3 jobs, and they still can't afford the rent in any city in America. That's not right. And as often is the case, what the morally right thing to do is also the smart thing to do. It's right to pay workers for the work that they do. And when we do, I think we actually spur the economy, and it helps all of us.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.